Chapter 1. The Dare. The tunnel wasn't supposed to be real. It was one of those urban legends that circled through the town of Fairhaven, just spooky enough to scare kids, but unbelievable enough to ignore once you grew older. They called it the Endless Mile, a tunnel buried deep in the woods that no one could ever reach the end of. If you walked far enough inside, the stories claimed, time would stop making sense. Sometimes, people didn't come back at all. 17-year-old Jesse Calloway had never believed in ghost stories, but when Mark dared him to find it, he didn't back down. "It's not even that deep," Mark said, tossing a rock into the forest as they stood at the edge of Pine Hollow. "My cousin found it once, said he went in 100 yards, and it was just a regular tunnel. Came right back out. Then why didn't he go all the way?" Jesse asked. Mark shrugged. He said it felt wrong, like it was watching him. "Whatever," Jesse muttered. "I'll go." That was all it took. One sentence, spoken without hesitation. The next day, Jesse packed a flashlight, a bottle of water, and a pocket knife. Just in case, he didn't tell his parents. He didn't tell anyone, except Mark. And then, at exactly 3 p.m., he stepped off the beaten trail and into the forest, chasing a story most people had already forgotten. Chapter 2. The Mouth. The hike took longer than he expected. The woods grew denser the deeper he went. Brambles clung to his jeans, and birdsong faded into an eerie silence. When he finally found it, he almost didn't recognize it at first. It wasn't a tunnel like the ones under highways or through mountains. This was older, carved into a low hill with a crumbling stone arch around its entrance. Moss covered most of it. The inside gaped like a throat. It was darker than black. Jesse turned on his flashlight and stepped inside. The temperature dropped instantly. The air was damp, earthy, like something that had been locked away for centuries. His light beam trembled slightly in his hand. "All right," he said aloud, just to break the silence. "Just a tunnel." He walked. Chapter 3. Mile 1. The walls were tight, made of rough-hewn stone. His flashlight revealed old marking scratches, maybe graffiti, some too faded to understand. At the half-mile point, Jesse paused. He turned around and pointed his flashlight behind him. The tunnel stretched back exactly as it had before. No curve, no slope, just a straight line of grey stone. "Almost there," he said, although he wasn't sure where there was. At the 1-mile mark, something changed. The air felt thicker. He thought he heard whispers, but every time he turned, there was no one there. His light flickered once, then stabilized. He checked the time on his phone. It had been 47 minutes since he entered, but it felt like only 15. Then he noticed something odd. He hadn't passed a single spider web, not a single bug, not even dust. It was too clean. Chapter 4. The Curve. At mile 2, the tunnel curved slightly left. Jesse frowned. The legend said it was a straight tunnel. He debated turning back, but curiosity won. He walked on. Now the whispers were louder, still unintelligible, but insistent, like hundreds of mouths speaking just below the surface of the stone. He pressed his hand to the wall. It was warm. He jerked back, heart pounding. Stone shouldn't feel warm that deep underground, unless he didn't finish the thought. Instead, he kept walking. Chapter 5. The First Sign. At mile 3, he saw it. A drawing fresh, etched into the wall with something sharp. A stick figure, tall and thin, with arms that stretched to the ground. Beneath it was a single word, "Run." Jesse's breath caught. He turned back, suddenly aware of how far he had gone. He should have been scared. He was scared, but he also needed to know more. His light flickered again. From behind, something clicked on the stone. He spun, but nothing was there. Chapter 6. Loops. Jesse turned around and ran. He sprinted for what felt like 10 minutes. Heart racing, lungs burning. When he finally stopped, he collapsed to his knees. And then he heard it. Dripping water. He turned his flashlight to the wall and saw the same drawing. The same run etched below it. He hadn't gone back. Somehow, the tunnel had brought him in a loop. "No," Jesse whispered. "No way." He tried again, this time walking slowly, counting each step. At step 1800, The drawing appeared again. Step 3600. Again. It didn't matter which way he turned. He was trapped. Chapter 7. The Voices. Jesse sat down, panting in the stale air, sweat beading on his forehead despite the cold. He was exhausted, and the whispers were louder now. Not just sounds, words. Turn around. He's coming. Don't run. It sees you. Jesse clutched the flashlight tighter. Shut up, he whispered. Then, all at once, the voices stopped. The silence returned like a vacuum, and with it, a new sound, dragging. A slow, scraping noise, like something heavy being pulled across stone. From somewhere behind, he whipped around, shining his flashlight. Nothing, but the sound came again closer. He didn't wait. He ran. Chapter 8. The Stranger. After what felt like another hour, Jesse stumbled upon something impossible. A man, sitting on the floor, back against the wall, eyes closed. He wore a tattered coat, old jeans, and shoes covered in mold. His beard was long and tangled. Jesse froze. Hey! The man's eyes flicked open milky white, like cataracts. He didn't speak. Jesse knelt. Are you okay? How long have you been here? The man slowly opened his mouth. His voice was dry, brittle. You shouldn't have come. I'm trying to get out, Jesse said. There is no out, the man whispered. There never was. This place, it shifts. You move, and it moves with you. It feeds on you. Jesse stepped back. What are you talking about? The man smiled faintly. How long do you think you've been down here? Jesse checked his phone again. 3:48 p.m. Just under an hour since he'd entered. But the battery was at 15%. It had been at 98% when he started. He looked back at the man, heart pounding. Who are you? I was you, the man said. A long time ago. Chapter 9. The Mark. The man didn't follow him when Jesse left. He just whispered something Jesse couldn't understand and leaned back into the wall. Jesse kept walking slowly now. His flashlight beam was weaker. Every so often, the tunnel would shift. What had once been smooth rock now bore jagged gashes. Sections dipped suddenly, forcing Jesse to crawl. Once, the ceiling seemed to breathe. At mile 5 he knew it was 5. Somehow he found something new. A mark carved into the wall in fresh scratches. A spiral. It pulsed under the beam of the flashlight. He reached out. The stone was warm again. And then he saw it, his own name, scrawled beneath the spiral. Jesse Calloway. He recoiled. Someone or something had marked him. The whispers resumed. Chapter 10. Repeating. Jesse tried walking backward, counting every step. He turned off the flashlight, trying to confuse whatever force watched him. Nothing worked. Every few hundred steps, the spiral appeared again, and sometimes, his name was joined by others. Jesse Calloway, Mark Nordin, Tanya Green, Ryan Bristol. Names he didn't recognize, all scratched beneath the spiral. He began screaming at the walls, banging his fists against stone, but the tunnel didn't respond. No echo, just silence, until it laughed. A low, deep chuckle that came from everywhere and nowhere. Chapter 11. The Black Room. At mile 7, the tunnel opened into a chamber. It was the size of a cathedral, completely black, walls coated in a strange viscous fluid that shimmered like oil. At the center stood a pedestal, upon it a mirror. Jesse approached slowly. In the mirror, he saw himself, but not as he was now. The reflection was gaunt, aged, his hair grayer, his eyes sunken. The reflection moved on its own, raising a hand that Jesse hadn't lifted. Then it whispered, "Let me out." The pedestal cracked, the mirror shattered, and Jesse was flung backward into darkness. Chapter 12. Waking. He woke in the tunnel, alone again. He couldn't tell if he'd dreamed the chamber, but the spiral now pulsed on the wall, glowing faintly red. His flashlight was dead. He walked by feel, one hand on the wall. Eventually, the tunnel sloped downward, down, down, endlessly. He passed bones, human bones, some arranged in circles, others clawing at the wall. The spiral returned more frequently now, and the whispering had become sobbing. The tunnel wanted him. Chapter 13. Return. At mile 10, the air changed. Fresh, crisp, He saw light. It was faint at first, then grew stronger. Hope surged through him. He sprinted. The tunnel narrowed and ended in a wooden door, rotted but real. He pushed it open and fell out into a clearing. The sun was shining. Birds chirped. He was free. But something felt wrong. He looked at his phone. Dead. He checked his watch. It had stopped. Then he heard voices. Two hikers emerged from the woods, pointing at him in shock. "Hey, you okay, man?" He nodded. How long? How long have I been gone?" They looked at each other. "You mean from town?" "Dude, they said you went missing 6 years ago." Chapter 14. Reflection. Jesse never returned to the tunnel. He tried. He looked for weeks, but the entrance was gone, buried, erased. He never found it again. He changed, aged quickly. His hair turned grey within a year. His hands trembled at night. And sometimes, in mirrors, he didn't see himself. He saw the other Jesse, the one behind the glass, whispering, "Let me out." Epilogue. The next one. In the woods of Fairhaven, another teen steps off the trail. He's heard the stories. He's looking for the tunnel. It's there now, waiting. Its mouth dark and patient. The spiral pulses softly on its walls. And deep inside, Jesse Calloway watches from the mirror, smiling.